Evening, everybody. We are back, ESBR Boxing. We're here with another review show. We are reviewing the new champion of the world, the WBA World Cruiserweight Champion, Chris Billam-Smith's victory over Lawrence Okolie, which took place tonight at the Vitality Stadium in Bournemouth. My coat is done up in testament to those hardy souls that are outside the stadium in Bournemouth currently, celebrating that victory. And I'm joined by my co-colleague, my co-host, my friend Niall. Niall, let's start. Let's jump straight into it, mate. Obviously, we both watched it. Let me get your reaction, please. What was your reaction to the victory for Chris Billam-Smith there?
Yeah, shock. I expected a Cody to win, maybe by stoppage, but that's not taking away anything from Chris Billam-Smith. He's been on a great run, but I just thought Cody was a level above. But God, it was a bit of a disaster from Cody, to be honest, with the point deductions and the knockdowns. And God, I can't recollect much more of a disastrous world title defense than that.
No, I'm totally with you. I had Okolie actually stopping Chris Billam-Smith in my prediction before this fight. I thought he'd get to him sort of round somewhere sort of nine plus. But let's break the fight down a little bit. Then obviously we saw, like you say, it was a disaster for Lawrence Okolie. He was knocked down three times allegedly, and he was docked 2 points for holding. Firstly, obviously Okolie has kind of fought with that holding style, hasn't he, many times before. Hasn't been dock points. So do you think, were you surprised to see him dock points, especially more than one in the fight?
I was absolutely, as you say, it's been a kind of a trademark of his career, the kind of spoiling style, the holding style, without much punishment. So to see more than 1 point taken off him was definitely a shock. But it rightly so. It got crazy in there with the amount of holding. It was insane. So the referee, I think it was very good officiating by the referee to kind of punish that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Look, to be honest with you, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but it seemed quite a tough fight to referee in some ways. There was a lot of holding. There was a lot of kind of like leaping into each other. There was a lot of kind of unexpected. Well, two obviously big guys to start off with, but a lot of kind of unexpected tomfoolery in there. But there was obviously three knockdowns were given as well. Now, can I just get your thoughts on those? Do you think there was three legit knockdowns? I think the last one as well, especially, was seen as like Curry might be trying to hold on. He was kind of going down. It wasn't really clear. Do you think that for you there was enough there to have three knockdowns, or do you think that was a bit unfair?
Yeah, well, as you say, it was such a scrappy fight, from beginning to end. So it was one of the scrappiest fights now I've seen in a long time. So it was kind of hard to judge, but I think again, as you mentioned, the first two I think were knockdowns. The last one was a kind of a culmination of just that messy kind of engagement between the two, and a Cody just collapsing to the floor. So two out of three I think were knockdowns, but it was the last one was kind of up in the air.
Yeah,
But
yeah. No, well, given obviously, like we said, obviously there was well, supposedly for the judges at least, they were giving us three legit knockdowns and 2 points deducted. Were you then surprised to see one of the scorecards coming at 112, 112? Is that something that shocked you?
I was shocked. Yeah, it was the first scorecard that was read out, and I just couldn't understand it at all. It's a bizarre scorecard for the amount of points that Okolie lost, the amount of rounds that lost, and to come up with a 112 scorecard. I'd love to
Yeah.
hear the explanation behind that because I don't understand that.
Let's start with the champion, obviously Billam-Smith. Then obviously now you know he moves tonight to a record of 18-1 with 12 KOs. World champion, obviously age 32. His sole defeat coming back actually in 2019 against Richard Riekpo. Um, well, who in an ideal world would you like to see him fight next? Obviously, Riekpo was ranked high up in the division as well, the WBO as well. Do you think that rematch is something that makes immediate sense, or is there another champion, or maybe a unification fight, or someone else you'd like to see him fight beforehand?
I think the rematch with Reactor is what came to mind first as to what makes the most sense to me. It sells well. They fought before. Billam-Smith's only career defeat. Has been on such a great run since that, and now he's a world champion. Reactor has been on a great run since then, so I think that makes sense. But I think the run that Billam-Smith has been on since that defeat, as I'd love to see him in unification belts with the other champions, maybe the likes of Badou Jack or Goulamarian or Opatai. I'd love to see that. But in terms of immediate kind of matchmaking, I'd love to see Reactor Billam-Smith too, to be honest, and
No,
hopefully,
absolutely. I think
yeah.
get that down in the vitality as well. I mean, that could be brilliant. Billam-Smith would have to be sort of wrestled out of there now, seemingly, or get some of those other champions in there. But there's another massive night. If Boxer can pull that off. Coming to Okolie, I mean, look, let's be frank here. Okolie's had a lot of criticism about his style. Boxer have obviously tempted him away from Matchroom. There's a lot of contract issues there, money, and all these various things. But there was also the sense that Okolie himself might move up eventually to heavyweight. Where do you see him going from here? Do you see him trying to regain a sort of cruiserweight title, or do you see him essentially being avoided by the rest of the cruiserweight division given his style? Do you see him moving up to heavyweight? Just give me what you sort of your immediate sentiments really to where Lawrence Okolie goes from here.
Yeah, see, Okolie is a tough one because he has all the attributes to be such an elite level talent. He has the size, he has the reach, he has the boxing brain when he shows it, and he has the power, the concussive power. So if somebody can coach that kind of that spoiling game out of him, or kind of a more educated, version of it. But I think what his future holds for me, I think he's going to move up to heavyweight. As you say, I
Mm,
can't see the other cruiserweight belt holders now going near him. Kind of
mm.
high risk, low reward, kind of that awkward style to face. So I think yeah, he has the size now, and I think he's ready to move up to the heavyweight
Do you
division.
think? Just gonna ask you, I suppose, a question in follow up to that. Really, obviously, Lawrence Okolie is now well, he's 30 years old, so he's sort of time on his side. But do you think that he is a potential world champion up at heavyweight, or do you think with the way the division is and the challenges are stacked, etc., that it'd be kind of fortunate of him to A, get an opportunity, and B potentially win the title? Do you see him potentially prevailing up there, or what's your immediate reaction to that?
Yeah, again, as I say, stylistically and kind of physically, he has the attributes to do well and cause problems. There's of course the belts are a bit tied up at the minute, so he could be a while waiting on a shot, or maybe if the belts become fragmented or vacated, he could. But I think I can't see it with the kind of his style now and his coaching now in terms of spoiling and that I can't see him kind of troubling the world champions, but yeah, maybe you never know.
No, we've obviously got Woodlar currently taking place as well. You and I have spoken previously, obviously with the con, and we've got I suppose what was initially the boxer show potentially seen as maybe the lesser of the three fights actually threw up quite an entertaining evening, to be perfectly honest with you. Quite an entertaining main event there. Felt very close. There's a lot of atmosphere. Obviously with the points deductions, the new champion Billam-Smith is a very popular fight area within boxing. I think we can really say, obviously we'll probably step away here from a minute and obviously watch Woodlar and see the conclusion of that. But I think actually from what started out, I don't know if you agree with me here. I'm going to ask you if you agree with me or not in a second. What started out really as being possibly a tough evening is actually managing to piece together quite well into a kind of orgy of boxing. Is it something you'd like to see again, or do you think it's actually been a bit too intense, jumping around from all these cards?
It's definitely been intense, as a boxing fan, as boxing fans that like we all are first and foremost. It's amazing. Like I've been looking forward to tonight for the whole week. The week started to have a packed night of boxing to look forward to. It's definitely tough though to keep on top of things, especially the three main events to talk about. But we're all fans first and foremost. So I think the more boxing, the better, to be honest, especially world title fights. Three world
Absolutely.
title fights on the same night on in the UK and Ireland. So we can't.
Absolutely. Well said. No, very articulate summary then. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to keep you any further because I know we want to go and watch for the end of Woodlara. But guys, obviously by the time you watch this, that fight will have ended. And we would obviously brought you reviews from all three. But I just wanted to say, Niall, thank you again for joining me. Thank you again, guys, for watching. And yeah, we hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Take care.